Eritrea Afar hagati kobodui EANC
مديري دنكالي الدونو عصبك مسوعات يا دي ساحلي علي مرصبة مراكبك مفدقة دنكالي اي وحي سيري قالي قرمو
دانكالي هنجي يهم برنامجي إريتريا عفرت يكيهن يان سمد بايساي دانكالي هتودعكي تمعيتي ركاكاي سياساكي عفر سرماني جحلوه قوقوس وقيتا ملاي بحورتين كاداي ديوسنهنان برنامجي EANC فيسبوك كي يوتيوب جيتا كني كتاتان ملاي ناسكاد لقويسين أرحيب السلام
عصاب لباحة الحلين أننا إلي نقرسنا على تاريخ حبلي ماليلا نويا يبدي مرسو 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 ماليلا نويا ونوح السماء فردال النيا يبدي مرسو ماليلا نويا يبدي مرسو ماليلا نويا بدل السكت تاريخ لمنيا يبدي مرسو ماليلا نويا يبدي مرسو ماليلا نويا يا عرم عقادو لنيا يبدي مرسو ماليلا نويا يبدي مرسو ماليلا نويا مالي عندي لبوري لنيا يبدي مرسو ماليلا نويا 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 يبدي مرسو ماليلا نويا.
Thank you, Professor Maria. Or Marianne, let's pronounce it in Dutch. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening to you all. Thank you. Before I proceed, let me recognize the great man we were to wait for, Father Musi. Thank you very much. And of course, come back, again, the professor herself, Miriam again. I'm aware there are some board members, and I recognize them. I will not go through the whole list because I'm not sure of the real protocols, but just to say I recognize all the participants in this room. As has been mentioned, I stand here, a citizen and resident in Zimbabwe, a member of parliament in Zimbabwe, and I'm also a member of the Pan-African Parliament, which most of you are familiar with. It's the Continental Parliament, the continent of Africa, equivalent to the EU Parliament. In our case, we have our AU, the African Union. At the outset, may I say it was not easy for me to be present this evening, of course, beginning yesterday morning. There was a serious clash of programs. On one hand, I was supposed to be in Poland, and on the other hand, I had serious commitments back home at a very high level. But I want to thank the organizer, the person behind this conference, Miriam, for her skills in making sure that she negotiated until I managed to come here. Can we clap for her? She's really a practical professor. Professors are usually theoretical, they don't implement much, they talk only, their conferences don't succeed. That's professors. But this is a professor who is very much practical, and I'm really here because of her skills. If she didn't have those skills, I wouldn't have been here. The whole topic for this conference is very clear. I don't have to take you through material that you have been reading, that it says, "We the people, peace in the home," conference. And you've just seen a video which basically goes to the core of why I am here. Representing Pan-African Parliament as a vice president. Some of you may want to know more, but just to say Pan-African Parliament, just like the EU, is in our case we have 54 countries, member states. In the case of Europe, I know it's 28. I don't know, maybe in Britain, if it's out, maybe they will go down to 27. But we are 54. And each country sends a delegation of MPs, of 5 MPs, to Pan-African Parliament. So 54 multiplied by 5. And within that delegation is a requirement that there should be members of the opposition parties, or the proportion in which you share the seats in parliament in your country should also be reflected in the numbers of the delegates in the 5. So each team always has an opposition ruling party, or sometimes more opposition than ruling, or sometimes 3 opposition, 2 from ruling parties. That is Pan-African Parliament. It makes many recommendations and resolution on any issue on the continent. And in terms of Article 12, the Parliament represents the voice of the people on the African continent. It's a very wide mandate, the voice of the people on the African continent. That's why the slogan is "One Africa, One Voice." It means we should be united. Anyway, I've already thanked, so I will not be reading. I like speaking to the notes, but let me start again by saying, look, the topic of this conference, the business for which we have all gathered here, is a very serious business, because millions, as you will hear from tomorrow into Friday, there are millions of people, migrants, trafficked humans, that have basically gone through hell and are going through hell. They are going through what we call excruciating circumstances. The most of the difficulty or painful experiences in life. So we are gathered here to focus on that and say, are we aware, through the presentation of the videos and the other testimonies, you will again come back to this. But I can tell you that at the end of the day, you all agree that this is unacceptable. Whether from which continent, this is unacceptable. But it's still going on a very large scale. And that's why we are gathered here. So this is an issue of life and death that we should come up with a workable, practicable plan so that we, for the first time, come up with a clear roadmap to address these issues. This morning, I came here knowing very well that there are issues of migration and human trafficking. We've debated that previously to our parliament. I've read, very much aware, but with the testimonies that I got this morning, I think, or today, this afternoon, I can assure you, if it were in a church, I would say, I've been rebaptized. I now understand much deeper the seriousness of this problem. The stories or testimonies from Eritrea, if you look at the numbers of Eritreans that have run away from that country, I feel seriously challenged with the opposition I occupy on the African continent as Vice President of a parliament that should represent the voices of the people of Africa. I actually feel very much challenged. More than ever before, we are given the numbers that are currently in Ethiopia, Uganda, Sudan, in Kenya, Israel, Libya, and some can't even tell where they are. And the experiences that they've gone through, the painful life that they've gone through, and a whole ethnic group, the Afar in Eritrea, that is systematically marginalized, displaced, dispossessed of his own property. And in large numbers, they are in Ethiopia and elsewhere. And we even met one from Canada who is in this room, from that same ethnic group. And then we talk of a civilized world. It becomes a great contradiction. And when we talk of human rights and group rights, we've actually gone, if you hear those stories, we've actually gone back to slavery. So thank you very much, Professor Miriam and the rest of the team, for bringing us together to share this experience. I'm saying to you, this is the business why we are here in Brussels for this conference. And we should all rise up and get to a point where we say, this is condemned, this is the way we should move. And then talking about Libya, apart from the prison conditions, which we are all aware that in terms of human rights all over the world, in all the constitutions, even a person, first the accused person has rights. That every person, even if you are found guilty and sentenced to life in prison, you still enjoy certain basic standards as a human being. Where you sleep, what you eat, how you spend the day should be dignified. But here you have people that are treated worse than even your own animals. Sad story. Sad story. Where do we go? I'm Pan-African Parliament Vice President. I can assure you the outputs from this conference, I will collect. I'm already inspired, converted. I just need a bit of material. I'll take it to the Parliament of Africa. And I can assure you it will be debated. It will go to the heads of state, we call it Assembly of Heads of State, and say, here we are, Africa, one voice. Can we push this matter? Can we push the European Union also to act responsibly, to respect human rights? I said, whether you are a criminal convicted, you have rights. A migrant has human rights. And and they should enjoy them. So through the Pan-African Parliament and the AU, I can assure you that part are energetically push. And where the situation demands and allows, I may call upon Mariam Professor to bring maybe 1 or 2 of you, especially if we debate in the Pan-African Parliament. A number of you may have to be there also and make contributions for the continent of Africa. We'll also use the AU with the African Union. We have a good network with the EU. There is what we now call a EU-AU strategy, European Union African strategy. And every minister as head of state meets on developmental strategies, and this issue is very relevant on engaging the EU. And also as a parliament, as Pan-African Parliament, we engage our counterparts in Europe, the European parliamentarians themselves, and cause them also to debate this issue. Look, this is a topic that I can speak with a lot of passion, and I can speak until tomorrow morning. But I want to stand here to say, please, let's all be energized and realize the importance of this topic. It's very urgent to save the pain in the millions of lives of our people across the world and identify the key hospitals who are supposed to move forward. And I say, please, standing here, I've been given the honor that once I say what I've said, I've now opened serious, open, frank debate for the next 2 days. I declare the conference officially open. Thank you.
Eritrea Afar hagati kobodoi EANC